Hello, this is Miss Samuels. Today we are going to divide a decimal by a whole number. But first, let's just review division. We follow the steps: does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So first we ask ourselves, 3 goes into 5 how many times without going over? That's the division part. 3 goes into 5 one time. Multiply, 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, 5 minus 3 is 2. Bring down the 4. 3 goes into 24 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract, bring down the 3. One final time, 3 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, and our answer is 181. If you need additional practice, please check out my other long division videos on YouTube to help you review your long division. But now we are ready to divide decimals. Looks very similar, except now we have this cow. Instead of just dividing, multiplying, subtracting, and bring down, we have to say, Ms. Samuels, does McDonald's sell burgers? What does that mean? First, we need to move the decimal. I like to remember it with this cow because I think to myself, move the decimal. You'll see what that means in our next slide. So our first step, move the decimals. Ms. Samuels, we need to move our decimal from our division problem to the top. So first you move the decimal up. Then you are pretending that this problem here is just 625 divided by 5. You're completely ignoring that decimal because you've already moved it to keep its place in your answer. So now we've already moved the decimal. Now we need to divide. 5 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. Bring down the 2. 5 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. 12 minus 10 is 2. Bring down the 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. And we get an answer of 12 and 5/10. Let's just check it with an estimate though. 62 and 5/10 is very close to 60. I'm going to keep my 5 of 5, but you can also change it to 6 to make it an easier answer as well. So I know that 60 divided by 5 is 12. That's a fast fact I know in my head. But if you had chosen to do 60 divided by 6 to make it easier numbers, that equals 10. And 12 and 5/10 is very close to 10. What about this problem? 27 and 8/10 divided by 2. Ms. Samuels, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? First, you need to move the decimal. Now we just divide as normal. 2 goes into 2 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. Subtract, bring down your 7. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down your 8. 2 goes into 18 9 times. 9 times 2 is 18. To check with an estimate, I'm going to change 27 to a closer number, and I'm going to say it's 30. You can keep your 2 a 2, and it would be 15. Or if you notice that 30 is a multiple of 3, that can help you with another estimate. And 10 is close to 13 and 9/10. 11 and 2/10 divided by 7. So if 7 is the number that we want to use as our multiple, I'm thinking that 11 is close to 14. The reason I'm changing that dividend is just so I can have a fast fact where I know that my answer should be close to 2. Move the decimal, move that decimal up. 7 can't go into 1, so put an X. 7 goes into 11 one time. 1 times 7 is 7. Be careful how you line it up. When you subtract, be careful, you need to borrow. Bring down the 2. 7 goes into 42 6 times. 6 times 7 is 42. And subtract. So when you are doing division with decimals, picture my cow. My cow's telling you to move the decimal. Make sure you take that decimal and you move it up so that your answer is 1 and 6/10 and not 16. Feel free to rewatch this video and pause and try to solve the problems as you go along as well.